He's the champion of the UFC middleweight division, a stylish technical striker whose ability to shut down his opponents on the feet is unrivaled in the sport today. Israel Adesanya's rise from under-the-radar prospect to pound-for-pound elite has been truly breathtaking. From his war with Kevin Gastelum to his shutout of Paulo Costa and his TKO of Robert Whittaker to win the title, it's clear that the last stylebender is one of the biggest stars in the sport today. So with that in mind, here's what some of Izzy's fellow stars think of him. Yuri Prochazka. You know you're doing well when the Czech samurai is calling your skill set magic. And sure enough, in an older clip where Yuri was asked about Israel Adesanya, he made it clear that he's a big fan of his potential future rival. In his eyes, Izzy just knows exactly what he's doing in the striking realm, moving in a way that is fluid and effortless, and above all other things, he's having fun in there, which, if you know anything about Yuri, is pretty important. Jump forward to present day, and Prochazka has of course managed to earn himself a UFC title through a stunning 5th round submission of Glover Teixeira. This, of course, opens the door for potential super fight between these two champions down the line, if they can continue to defend their titles. It would be Adesanya's polished, masterfully technical skills against Yuri's totally insane brand of chaos. Who wouldn't want to see that?
I like him. I like him because he's looking like he's enjoyed his movement. Yeah, and he's know his power and the strategy and everything about that, and he knows how to use that in the right moves step by step. That's something magic for me.
Conor McGregor. Call it a business move or some real praise, but when Conor McGregor's stablemate within the Paradigm Sports, Israel Adesanya, managed to earn himself a new contract with the UFC, the Irishman took to Twitter to shower him with praise, calling him one of the last true high-level performers in the sport. Conor sprinkled in some of his own philosophy on the fight game, saying don't just fight, perform. And from one high-level striker to another, it makes a lot of sense. Conor was a huge Anderson Silva fan during the Brazilian's prime, and when you consider that Izzy saw himself as one of his major MMA heroes, there does seem to be some common ground between these two global superstars. Michael Bisping. Though now retired from the sport, Michael Bisping's stature within the MMA world has never been greater thanks to his online presence and his popularity as a member of the UFC commentary booth. When it comes to Israel Adesanya, the Count has been on board from day one, and though Adesanya came up short because of the physicality and underrated technical skill of the former champ Jan Blachowicz, Bisping still admires how fearless as he was and how he dared to be the great. What's interesting is that Adesanya is, of course, the champion of Bisping's own division, but again, with the Brit happily retired, there has never been any reason for the two to get competitive. To say that Michael Bisping has mellowed out over the years would be putting it lightly, and now he could simply sit back and enjoy the sport he built his name in as a fan, and boy, is he a fan of Adesanya.
Every time Israel fights, every time Izzy fights, they're going to try and take him down because he's a fantastic kickboxer and one of, if not the best strikers in the UFC. And of course, he's one of the most dominant champions that we have as well. I mean, what he's done, what he's brought to the octagon in terms of action, and also what he's brought in terms of personality, star power. I'm a massive fan of the guy on everything what he's done, how he's handled himself, the career that he's had, stepping up to light heavyweight, trying to become a double champ. I mean, you know, having the balls to do that, the courage to do that, daring to be great, putting the sparkling undefeated record on the line. Now listen, he came up short, but no, you know, no shame there. It was against the light heavyweight champion of the world.
Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley has been known to give his takes on absolutely everything concerning MMA through his popular podcast. And as a sniper-like striker in his own right, it's only natural that he sees Israel Adesanya as someone worth admiring. But for this clip, it's not so much about the technical stuff, but instead, Sugar Sean seems to really appreciate Stylebender's mindset, how he carries himself as a champion, and his willingness to put the belt on the line against contenders that surround him. When asked if he would be willing to train with Izzy down the line to try and learn what he can form from his mentality, O'Malley gave a resounding yes, saying that he would jump on the opportunity if it ever arose. At this early point in Sugar's career, he is still quite far away from the top of the bantamweight division, but at UFC 276, the card that will be headlined by Adesanya and Cannonier, O'Malley will have his own challenge to overcome, taking a big step up in competition in the form of Pedro Munoz, a fight that could unlock a spot in the top 10 for this highly touted up-and-comer.
But if we said, hey, I guess if we said let's go there for 7 days, do a week at Izzy's camp and just like train, do their pro team and shit, yeah, it'd be fun. I'd learn a ton. It'd be fun too. I'm actually gonna talk to Tim about that.
It would be super fun.
That's funny you asked me that because I did actually tell Tim that like probably a week ago.
Really?
So we should go out to Izzy's.
Remember, if you're enjoying our content and want to see more, be sure to leave a like before subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our weekly uploads. Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa really doesn't have the highest opinion of Izzy, that's for sure. Human trash were the words he used to describe the man who bested him at UFC 253, reacting angrily to the Adesanya's post-fight celebration that, let's say, took place behind his back. As soon as Costa found out about this viral clip, he took to his own official social media platforms to threaten Israel, telling him that the beef was now mortal and that he would work towards an eventual rematch. As we all likely remember, the reason Costa gave for being so flat on fight night was of course the bottle of wine that he drank the night before to help him sleep, which is pretty crazy, but Paulo Costa seems to be like a crazy dude. And if he can't find a way to land a hard shot on Luke Rockhold next time around, you'd best believe that the UFC will see some major potential in a rematch between these two. Adesanya seems pretty uninterested in Costa, of course, and generally most people would pick him as the heavy betting favorite. But if Costa is able to loosen up and get some shots off, who knows? He just might shock the world.
I came here to talk about the action that human trash did after a fight. I didn't see when I was there on the cage, but I saw now. I disapprove 100%. And to me, this is mortal now. Nobody will stop me. Nobody can stop me. Save my words.
If you're streaming the fights this weekend, the smart move would be to protect your data with the best privacy software online, ExpressVPN. If you're not protecting your data, big tech websites can mine your data and track your information. Using a VPN masks your IP address and blocks websites from knowing your location or what you're looking at. If you didn't know, your internet service provider can see every website that you visit. What's worse is that once they have it, they sell this information to big ad companies and use your information to target you. Using ExpressVPN makes using the internet a safe, protected place on all of your devices. You can use it on your phone, laptop, desktop, and even routers so that everyone on your Wi-Fi can be protected even if they don't have ExpressVPN. I don't want big tech collecting my information, and I'd imagine you don't either, so enjoy watching the fights this weekend in peace, knowing that you're protected by the world's best internet privacy software, ExpressVPN. Find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by visiting expressvpn.com/watchmma or by clicking the link in the description box below. Jon Jones. During Jon Jones' time as the 205-pound champion, there was some real buzz about the prospect of a fight between him and the middleweight king Israel Adesanya, so much so that the pair were constantly going back and forth in the media and online, taking shots whenever the opportunity presented itself. In the end, Jones left the division in favor of a move to heavyweight, while Izzy's first crack at 205 ended in defeat, which didn't fill the fans with confidence of his chances against the divisional GOAT. And when Jon was asked about the fight with Adesanya, he made it clear that if Israel actually wanted to fight him, the fight would be made. Instead, in his own way, he called the stylebender a coward and disregarded their online back and forth as little more than a bit of fun. Now focused on the heavyweight title, there's a good chance we'll see Bones make a walk either late this year or in early 2023, and trust us, that is going to be one hell of a spectacle.
It's unfortunate that me and him have to take things this way. At the end of the day, if Israel wanted to fight me, that would be a gigantic fight for the sport. A lot of people talk about, well, you know, why are you forcing Israel to go to light heavyweight? You never went to heavyweight. There's a gigantic jump between me and the heavyweights. Me and Izzy, we're only 15, 20 pounds apart. So if Izzy really wanted to fight me, he would do it. Izzy's a pussy, and there's really no way around. There's no way around it. So, and as far as him being in my head with the internet stuff, it's just fun. So that's all that's about. He is not in my head. He's not in my head at all, actually.
Robert Whittaker. There is some very real beef between Israel and Robert in the lead up to their first fight, or at least it seemed like both men were just far too competitively linked to each other. Looking back at it now, Whittaker was quick to admit that he was too emotionally invested to perform the best of his abilities the first time around, and it did kind of show. A TKO loss in the second round left Adesanya as the champion of the world, and for Whittaker, it would take another 3 victories to get back to a title shot. Their rematch was a lot closer, and depending on who you ask, there was an argument that Whittaker did enough to edge the champion out. Speaking about their post-fight exchange, Whittaker made it clear that the beef had been squashed, at least for now. The words they exchanged were words of respect, and listening to both men talk about the other makes you understand that they fully expect to share the cage together again before too long. For now, Whittaker will have his hands full with Marvin Vettori in a bout that should be considered as a title eliminator at 185 pounds.
I guess a big takeaway though is just like, and you can see it, me and Israel had respect for each other. We both got in there and we gave we gave a really good fight. We left it all there for everyone to watch and to enjoy. And you know, I respect him for that, and you can see he respects me for that.
Jared Cannonier. The more you listen to Jared Cannonier, the more it becomes clear that he's one of the most unique characters in the sport today. There's just something about his viewpoints on his career that go against the grain. And as far as his take on Israel Adesanya is concerned, he once again produces the goods. Instead of looking at his UFC 276 opponent as a rival or a nuisance, Cannonier sees him more as of a working colleague, a fellow martial artist who, like him, is in the prime of his career. And instead of taking shots at him in the hopes of stirring up a manufactured beef, the Killer Gorilla seems to hold no ill will towards Adesanya, seeing parallels between the two of them instead. His hopes for UFC 276 outside of winning the belt are that he and Israel managed to put on one hell of a show for the audience. At 38, there's a pretty high chance that this will be Jared's last chance to earn a title, unless he goes on a Glover Teixeira-like resurgence. The stakes could not be higher for him leading in, but as far as his personal feelings are concerned, it's only business.
I don't want to poeticize the whole fucking thing or anything like that, but like I said, you know what I'm saying, I don't see him as my enemy or anything like that. I see us as co-workers. I see us as two guys hustling. We found our hustle, we found our niche, and we're going to exploit it to the best of our ability. We're working together to make some happen. Even though, you know, on the outside it looks like we're punching and we're using hate and violence, but that ain't it at all. You know what I'm saying? He's a martial artist. I'm a martial artist. We're going to come together. We're going to exchange energy and create the best thing you guys have ever seen on TV.
Israel Adesanya. And finally, we come to the man of the hour, the champion of the middleweight division, who will look to make his 5th defense of the title by defeating Jared Cannonier. If there's one thing that has always stood about Israel, it's his confidence. Over the years, we have watched as this guy delivered his potential time and time again, not looking even slightly surprised when he absolutely nails his own expectations. And in a classic interview clip from the time around his first crack at UFC Gold, Adesanya explains exactly where that confidence comes from. Citing his Nigerian heritage as a major factor in how he carries himself, he points to his fellow UFC champion Kamaru Usman as another example of a Nigerian man at the top of the sport, one who has an infectious level of confidence. Stylebender makes it clear though that he always wasn't like this, and how his demeanor was something that he needed to craft for himself. Anyone who knows Izzy's story will be aware that as a teenager, this future world champion fighter was bullied, something that forced him to see kickboxing as a means of defending himself. Nowadays, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who would start a fight with this longtime champion, but it does show you how far someone can come. And on the long list of extremely self-assured UFC fighters competing today, Israel Adesanya is right up there.
Nigeria, it's just in the blood, honestly. Like, you see guys like Kamaru, and other athletes and people that I know, even, like, we're never shy to, like, let people know who we are and what we're about. So yeah, I've always just been the guy to kind of say what I think. I don't shy away from, you know, the spotlight. Whenever it's on me, I shine brighter than the spotlight. So, and that just says this experience as well, a lot of experience, because I was not always like this. I built myself to this way. I never liked the spotlight back in the day, but I had to adapt to all this because I knew what was coming to me.
Again, if you enjoyed today's video and want to see more, be sure to leave a like before subscribing to the channel so you can stay up to date on all of our latest uploads. Thank you for watching.